Hello and welcome. It's Carnage. We're taking a look at the G.I. Joe classified Cobra Night Attack four-wheel drive Stinger and driver. Cobra Stinger is one that I have been waiting for a while. I was a big fan of those gray drivers, and that was really looking forward to getting them in the classified format, and we finally have him. And man, does he look great. I'm glad they decided to go with the more updated officer web gear that accommodates a lot more movement. We need this guy to be able to sit comfortably in that Stinger, which he can't do if he's got that cumbersome web gear that we see. That's what I'm talking about right there. I'm glad that he doesn't have that. So anyway, let's talk about driver. Obviously, as I mentioned, it's the officer for all intents and purposes. Although, of course, he doesn't have the officer helmet, which is absolutely fine. He has the, as you see there, the pistol. He's got the dagger. He's got the backpack that accommodates the smaller submachine gun, and then this is an AK. But here's something that, first thing I noticed, I was frantically searching for the little sight that we've gotten used to seeing in this gun, and it's not there with this particular version. I think this is the first time they've included this gun, because we've seen it a lot. We've seen it with all the officers. We've seen it even with Sergeant Slaughter. But, as I mentioned, every time it has that sight, and it doesn't this time, which is fine, but it's just interesting to note that. I wonder why they decided to leave that out. I don't know. But at any rate, he really looks great. He fits into the Stinger quite well, so we'll go ahead and move in and start talking about the Stinger at this point. So, obviously, if you have the Vamp, you know that with a few modifications, that it's basically the same that they gave us back in the Real American Hero days. It's sort of a repaint of the Vamp, basically, with some additions that are basically the same additions that we saw back in the day. Those of us who have been collecting these for a long time. So, we got these heavy duty, I guess you call them blast doors, which really do protect whoever's in there, and they do lock in there, they click in there. There's also a cover. So compared to the Vamp, these guys are very, very safe. And then you'll notice that that window is really blacked out. I mean, it is really blacked out. So there is somebody in there. Now that might be a little bit of dirt on the window, because I don't think you can see the person that's in there. I don't know, maybe you can. Maybe that's something that you can see of the person who's in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, so that's a gun. So, as you can see here, that window is very, very dark. You can kind of make out that there's somebody in there, that there's a gun there, but it's really tough. So, obviously the person who's in there is going to be quite well protected. And if you're going to do some photography with the Vamp, that is certainly going to be a selling point of this vehicle. The safety of the people inside it. But that said, you may want to pull that window out. I've even heard someone talk about removing the slats here, which is probably a great idea. I'm sure Gridiron's going to have some different options as well. So certainly there will be options to deal with that. But, you know, that's really my only real complaint at this point. I'm just really digging the color scheme here. The classified team does such a good job choosing these colors that really make things pop. I just cut my fingernails and I'm having a tough time getting that hood open, so bear with me here. Sometimes we'll have to go and find something to pop in there. But anyway, that hood opens up, and as you can see, it's got the engine in there, and there really isn't a lot to talk about. We do have the winch there. I really have yet to use the winch with my vamp, so maybe I'm going to have to make that a point to do something in the near future where I finally do put that thing to use. I really like this, I'm not sure what you would call it here, this extra defense. I don't think it's a cow catcher, but maybe it is. But it certainly gives it a ominous look coming right at you. I have to say that. The rockets, of course, are one of the main standouts of the original Stinger, and certainly a standout of this one. They are not as large as the rockets that come with the HMS, but they really are pretty good size, pretty darn intimidating looking rockets. Go ahead and show you a bit more what I'm talking about there with those rockets. And these can be positioned. I'm not going to mess with it right now. I do have to say that's another one of the things that I'm a little bit worried about. I just feel like it just felt like this mechanism here over time could be problematic. Maybe even something you might want to think about replacing or fortifying in some way. Of course, if you pull this off, we got the I don't know what you'd call it here, but you got the surface for the folks, for the soldiers to stand on. And I noticed that it does have pegs, which unlike the HISS tank, they opted to do no pegs, but we do have pegs here, so you could at least have one or two guys standing back there, guys or girls, maybe some Valkyries back there, who knows. We got a lot of freaking possibilities now. There are so many figures in this line now that, man, just looking at the different red and black figures that we've had since the HISS tank has arrived, there really are some great possibilities to combine different things, including the HMS, which, there you go. There you go, folks. It fits perfectly. I got a couple shots where I have it attached there, and I also have that Gridiron howitzer, and I may go ahead and try to attach that on there. But I'm sure you'd like to see what that HMS looks like, so maybe we'll go ahead and do that. All right, we just couldn't continue without attaching that HMS, so I did go ahead and remove the surface there from the back, which was very easy. And the HMS hooks, kind of tough to see, but the HMS goes right onto the hitch there, right on that trailer hitch there, and it really looks great. I gotta say, it almost looks more appropriate to have it attached to the Stinger than it does to the His tank. What a great looking presentation, really. Really, the colors are absolutely perfect, and they just look like they are coming to town to cause some heartache. They're gonna cause some trouble for somebody. Cobra is looking good with the Stinger, baby. I gotta say, if I had the room, I would get more than one. I just don't have the room. I am literally running out of space very quickly here. I mean, I don't have room for my ferrets at this point. I've got a couple empty spots here because things are pulled down at the moment. My ferrets are pulled down, and obviously my Stinger's pulled down, but here's the tiger paw. There's my vamp. So I'm really just, like I said, I'm running out of space, folks. So I wish I had the room to have another Stinger, but I just don't. But I'm so thoroughly tickled with this guy, with the Stinger. I gotta say, probably a 9 of 10 for me. The only complaint would be that it's tough to see the driver and whoever else he happens to have in there with him. And those rockets, that base for those rockets is just a little bit flimsier than I would like it to be. Other than that, I'm sure it's gonna just photograph outstanding, and we'll have some examples of that forthcoming. What are your thoughts on the Stinger? Are you gonna get one? Are you gonna get two? Are you gonna get more than two? Do you like it? I love it. Curious to get your thoughts, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Oh, yeah, baby.